So the last time I came to you, I was actually in this exact spot. I've just turned around. Give you a different look again. But if you remember in that one, I talked about how things aren't going to be perfect, and I talked about how I moved and different noises, different distractions, and then lo and behold, right at the end of that video, there came that noise. It was some machine that they were using to clean the sidewalk over across the way. Kind of funny that it happened that way. So I got set up for this one, was ready to go, and right off to my left in front of me over here came a family to sit down, and they've sat about 3 of those these thatched umbrellas away, and they're great, they're fine. The kids have just gone down to the ocean right now to play, so now it's a little quiet, so I'm going with it. But again, it's that concept, things aren't ever going to be, well, we might think they're going to be perfect, and they might be in the moment, and then pretty soon the perfection has left, and that's okay. Right now the family has split, they've gone different ways, it's quiet again, great, but I'm sure there'll be some distraction that's going to come in again in a minute, but that's okay. That's going to be part of what I'm dealing with and what you're going to deal with too in life. So today though, I want to focus more on the concept of questions and the importance of us constantly asking questions. I talked about what if a couple of videos ago, and that fueling of curiosity, how important that is. But I want you to consider this as a coach, as a teacher, as a leader of people, the importance of asking great questions to your people for a variety of reasons. One, like I talked about a couple of times ago, to fuel their curiosity. But two, this is a great coaching concept that I learned later in my career. Rather than immediately telling my players, you should have, and start telling them what they should have done, ask them, hey, what did you see there? Why did you do that? And I used questions in my coaching, and still do, where I'll go, what were you thinking? What did you see? When I ask it that way, do you think the kid is really thinking, oh, he's asking my opinion for me to help clarify for him what is a really good idea on my part? No, I am ripping him. I am ripping into her for, what the heck were you thinking? How stupid could you be? Blah, blah, blah. That's how they're going to think I'm meaning it. As opposed to blow the whistle, make my way over. Or maybe I've already made my way over to her, blow the whistle. Hey, what did you see there? What prompted, I think of this classic for me is with a point guard who has come down on a break. Those who aren't basketball coaches figure out who that would be. He made a pass that didn't really work out that well, and that probably wasn't the best decision. And I want my kids, I've learned to kind of let go a bit, and I want them to force the issue at times as opposed to always playing it safe. And I was never that way early in my career, throughout a bunch of my career, way too much of a control freak. But I learned to kind of let them go and push the envelope on some things. But one of the things I had to start doing was, when they did push it too far, in my opinion, blow the whistle and say, all right, what were you seeing there? And ask them for an answer, not what the heck were you, no. Ask them the question, let them respond. Now, I have to have built up a great relationship with them in order for them to respond honestly, because I need them to trust me. Right? And so now, once that's established and I ask that question, hopefully I get, well, coach, I saw blah, blah, blah. Then the next question could be, do you think that was the best decision? Or do you think that was the best alternative? And again, not ask, do you think that was the best alternative? Do you think that was the best decision? No. Ask it, do you think that was your best option, your best alternative? And allow him or her to respond with, again, honesty. Yeah, at the time I did. Okay, that's fine. Next question, what were some other options that you might have wanted to try? Now, of course, there are going to be others, because it didn't work. That's why I'm asking the question. There's going to be other options that he or she will have seen, and just they didn't exercise that option. And so let them tell you what those are. And then the question becomes, why choose that one over the one you did choose? Or why Did you choose the one that you did over those? Again, allow the answer, and then can go to why not choose the other one? What might be a reason why you would want to choose the other one? Some of you might be thinking, my gosh, do you know how long that would take and how much time out of practice that would take? Yes. If it's important enough, if it's a moment that everybody can learn from, then yes, stop the practice and take the 1 minute or 2 minutes to make sure that everybody hears that answer. But if it's something that this person, this leader on your team, this point guard, this quarterback, this whoever on your team really needs to understand, because he or she's going to be put in that position numerous times, or already has and has made that mistake numerous times, then pull the player aside and let the practice go on, let your coaches go, and have that as a one-on-one conversation. Any way you can do this is going to be beneficial. Okay, it's going to be beneficial for that player, but it's ultimately going to be beneficial for the team, because that player will then put himself or herself into that moment at some point again, and how he or she responds to that with the team is going to determine the success rate in that type of moment again. So it's a great thing to do. Rather than immediately telling them, you should have what? How about asking them to process it, because that's what they're going to have to do in the moment again at some point on the court, field, wherever you coach. So I think it's a great concept. Use questions and use them in a way that they don't feel they're being attacked with the question, all right? And not being really asked an actual question that you want an answer to, but use it in a way where they get to process, they get to think through, and then they get to tell you and kind of work through it in their own mind. Yeah, this was not necessarily the best option. Here's the other idea with this. How about when it does work, we also ask the question, hey, great job. What did you see there? I hadn't seen that. And allow them the success that they just had, and also the chance to teach you something. Even if you did see it and you do understand it, let them tell you, because that then allows them to rise in their esteem, and in their minds, they have just raised themselves in your esteem. Two great things for a kid to go through, and for a leader on your team to continue to raise the level of his or her leadership. So I think questions are a great way for coaches to lead their teams. And quite honestly, I think a lot of times we forget how important they can be and how beneficial they can be to the success of our team. So yeah, I love that idea. I hope you do too. We'll talk to you again next time.